Hey guys, Loypower here, and before I get into the video, I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a week or two. I was taking a break, I had to do some stuff, but I'm back and I'll be uploading every other day for I don't know, a while. 2021 is going to be the year this channel grows. So a lot of consoles dropped this year, and you might say, what console should I buy? Well, don't worry, I'm here to help. Loypower's here to help. You may be bewildered when you hear that there are four consoles dropping this next year. This year, whatever. I'm recording this on the 31st. So 3 consoles have already dropped, and 1's coming. So we got the PlayStation 5, we got the Xbox Series X, and we got the Xbox Series S. And then we got the Nintendo Switch Pro dropping later next year, or this year. And it's really hard to choose what console to buy, because all of them are packing a punch. So, to determine that, I will, tell you what console to buy purely unbiased, because I haven't tried any of them. Planning to buy a PS5 for different reasons than the reasons I'm going to list in this video. Personal reasons, but that's beside the point. Alright, to begin with, I'll be talking about the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5 is like a redesigned PS4, but way more innovative. It runs slower than the new Xbox, but it runs really fast. In fact, I would say that the difference between it and the new Xbox are so minute that you wouldn't notice it unless you go out of your way to crank everything to the max and try noticing it. It doesn't have as much storage, but the thing is a beast, just like the Xbox. And I'm not really going to talk about all the games and stuff as much as I'm going to talk about everything else. Because game-wise, it's a new console. No new games are coming out. But I'm going to talk about, well, why you should buy it. So, the main reason I was interested at first, was the controller, the DualSense controller, or DualSense 1, as people would call it. The DualSense controller is insane. I've heard that it's really good, the haptic feedback, the vibrations, the triggers, everything about it is just innovative. Now, before I get into that, let me tell you guys a story about me and controllers. So, I personally hate Sony's DualShock. That is like the worst thing that's ever been made in the gaming landscape, in my opinion. Now, you guys could disagree if you want, but that's just my opinion. My hand is 7.5 inches. That's the average size of a human hand. And that thing is small. I consider that small. I don't know how people play on that. It is the smallest thing. The triggers are so flimsy, the sticks feel awkward, and the buttons feel mushy. Right? And the grip is just something else. But then the PlayStation 5 controller is the shape of an Xbox controller, and those things are comfortable. In fact, I could probably just hold that thing all day and not notice it because of how comfortable they are. They're hefty, but they're nuts. And Sony made that. Like, I don't really like the format the Xbox controller uses, where the left stick is above the D-pad, and then I just don't like that, mainly because it's super awkward. And when you combo that with paddles, your hands just kind of feel awkward, like you're placing your hands in weird locations. So the fact that I get to use a controller that gets rid of all the problems that I've had with any other controller is insane. Now, I'm gonna talk about ray tracing on the PS5 real quick. This is not important. In the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, you could get ray tracing 4K 30 FPS, which is insane. You know, last year I remember getting 4K 60 FPS was already really good, and then getting ray tracing 4K 60 FPS, you had to have a top-of-the-line 2080 Ti, I'm pretty sure, last year. Now you can get it with a, 2060 Ti. I mean, a 3060 Ti. But in last year's standards, dude, a PS5 would be at least $1,500, right? With that kind of performance. Now, a lot of the FPS games currently are clocked at 60, but games like Call of Duty Cold War, Warzone, Rainbow Six Siege, and Fortnite run at 120 FPS on both consoles, which is nuts. But it's not the true potential. I feel like these things could clock 144 FPS. Now, I didn't really talk about ray tracing there, but it's nothing special, honestly. You can watch videos about it. So yeah, that's all I can say about the PS5 right now. Now I'm going to talk about the Xbox Series X and Series S as one. So for the Series X and Series S, honestly, they also feel very innovative. Like the fact that you get a ton of storage, the fact that you can go from game to game without losing your progress or having to save or reloading the game within mere seconds, all the stuff that comes with it, it all feels really nice. But the one place where I feel like they kind of missed was the controller. Like, yeah, you could just buy a third-party controller if you want, but the Xbox One controller is already good. But then, I feel like they didn't really change much. Like, they added a share button, was it? And paddles, which come with the Xbox Elite controller already. And what else? Yeah, an audio button. None of that stuff is innovative. In fact, every single thing I listed comes with my $25 PDF Nintendo Switch controller. It has paddles, it has an audio button, and it has a share button. Right? A Nintendo third-party controller has more stuff than an Xbox controller. That I feel like they missed. But again, that's besides the point. Like, it's a different console, and Nintendo doesn't even compete. Nintendo's a whole different thing. It's a side dish, I would say. Alright, my recording just cut with the Xbox. I feel like it would last longer because it has slightly better hardware. And I feel like it's easier to store because of how small and compact it is. So if you live in a small apartment, I would recommend you go for the Xbox. It's not worth for the games. There aren't going to be any games, and maybe later on you could use your Xbox as a computer or something if Microsoft lets you. Well, they're kind of the same, the two consoles. I don't really see a reason to not go for either. But if you ask me, I would go for the PlayStation 5. For reasons. I just feel like it has more coming, but the Xbox is good. If you're gonna emulate games, buy it. If you're gonna do anything like that, buy it. If you wanna have a console that's gonna last a bit, buy it. Finally, I'll be talking about the Nintendo Switch Pro. Now, it's gonna be quite expensive. I feel like it's gonna be $400 for a thing that's basically a phone. In my last video, I talked about how the Nintendo Switch is not really worth it right now, and you'd probably go for a Nintendo Switch Pro. I take that back. Maybe you're gonna get 60 FPS in games, and if you're gonna go from place to place, I'd recommend you just buy a controller and run GeForce Now on your phone. If your phone supports it, it's just not worth it. When it comes out, if you're just a die-hard fan and you really want to play games that are Nintendo exclusives, just either emulate the old games on a computer or something, or buy a Nintendo Switch when the price for it drops. It's not really gonna come with anything revolutionary like the other consoles, and I would not say it's worth it. Alright guys, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna be uploading 3 times or 2 times a week, and new video dropping when I hit 5 likes. See ya.